Nana Sule,
Hi,
welcome to the Fitila Podcast.
thank you.
Excited to have you.
It's
Very
a
much happy.
pleasure to be here.
And it will interest you to know that you're the first woman I'm hosting in this podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Why is that?
The first day, I remember the first day we put out the announcement that we're starting a podcast. And thank you very much. You were the first woman to call me to congratulate me and say, one of the things you said was you hope this podcast is not going to be an old man podcast. And I wanted to tell you no, but in practice, and I said to myself that Nana is going to be the first woman I host. And here we are today.
That's interesting. A pleasure again, and I'm grateful that you took that. I think that for a lot of people who organize or curate events, I don't think it's out of malice, or it's just that the most accessible option often is a man.
Most accessible. I will take that, yes.
Yeah. So when you're looking for, say, oh, I want to interview an engineer in a field, it's like the names that come up are men. You have to be intentional to search for a woman. So I do appreciate you taking that to heart.
But I'm just hoping that inshallah you have broken the door for others to come in. We're going to have more, like much women here. Can you remember the last time we met? Or the first time we met even? That would be much more interesting for the audience.
Not really.
I think it was 2019 when I organized a TEDx event in Kano, TEDx
Amino
Aminu
Kano.
Way. Yeah.
That was in some at the Adobairo Mall.
Adobairo Mall.
Yes.
You happen to be among the audience, the guests.
Stop.
And something happened that I even wrote it in my diary that night when I get back home. I was so anxious to welcome the people that were there, so terrified actually to be on the floor. I think that was I don't think it was the first time I'm having a gathering of people to welcome, but then somehow I felt, that anxiety. And all of a sudden, you came from nowhere and you welcomed the people. You broke the ice, right? And I didn't get the chance to say thank you, but today I'm saying thank you, Nana, because the moment you did that, you took off all the burden on me. I was no longer scared. Like I felt I can do this, and I did. So thank you very much.
Come on. And you can. And we should have more TEDx events too, more events from you. I mean, you put together a fantastic line of guests, and
The
it
team,
was
in
really
fact,
beautiful. The team too, very hospitable, they knew what to do, where to be at. It was really wonderful.
Actually, yeah. But no, a lot of things for all of us. Yeah. But we'll see what we can do.
And that was like 2019, yes?
2019.
So about 6 years
6 years.
Nice knowing you.
Yes, and then we now met again at BUK for our masters in communications. All right, that's all we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about you and your book, Not So Terrible People. What a name! But before that, I know my audience would love to hear about you. Tell us a bit about Nana.
That sounds like some interview question. Like,
yes.
What do you want to know?
What
mostly just introduce myself as a writer.
Okay.
Sometimes an editor. All times a human being. And a comms person, comms strategist. But again, I get a feeling that's mostly what we do, not who we are. So it's very tricky to introduce myself. I tend to not know what to say. So what would you like to know?
You were somebody before becoming this person you've
Yeah,
just described. Can you tell us a bit of who you were growing up?
growing up.
Yep.
That's interesting. um, so my earliest memories are with my dad. And we used to watch movies together, Indian movies, news. He loved Amitabh Bachchan. um, AIT, NTA, the whole works. We used to read newspapers together. And I'm the last from my mom. So it was for a while, it was me and him because my mom went back to school. And we just do stuff together, take drives, buy suya, chocolates. And at the times when he's not available to be with me, it was my job to then document whatever had happened. So say I watch a movie that's
At what
interesting.
age, remember?
I think 5, 6.
Wow.
So I'd have to like do a summary of I watched this is what happened.
Was it
But not
something he taxed you with, or you?
no, he taxed me with. Maybe he saw something, I don't know. Because
What language do you document?
English. I don't recall learning to read and write. And at that time I could read and write. So my mom was an educator, so I think that helped too. I know that helped, not I think that helped. So I could read and write for as long as I could remember. And then I would do the summaries or read the newspaper and do summaries. And he'd read and correct. And we also, with my parents too, I'm not a very confrontational person in the sense that, yes, I do tell people when they've done something wrong to me, but for us then it was writing letters. So if there was something you wanted to communicate, you write letters to my mom or my dad.
While you were in the same compound?
Yeah. Write letters and drop it under their pillow or something. So I think that somehow I was groomed into this person. I'm not sure if it was a conscious decision on their part or maybe they noticed something and decided to nurture it, but I'm grateful for it. So I'd say a child because I did enjoy being nurtured. And I still think that a part of me wants to keep experiencing that, the care, the love, the affection and attention. So a huge part of me when I am back home and I'm removing the writer cap or the comms cap or whatever it is that I did during the day, I'm back to being a baby who just wants to be fed and taken care of and with my hair washed and everything just.
There was something you said that caught my attention. I had Dr. Shamsuddin on this chair a couple of days ago. He is a terrible reader and a writer too.
Interesting.
Yes, a medical doctor. And so this is one thing you have in common. You guys read, you guys write. He said he can't remember at what age he learned how to read or write. He just remember himself reading in Hausa. His dad stops. Is this something? Why do you think this is so?
I don't know. I think maybe if we learn things quite early, it's hard to remember. I read somewhere, though I don't recall now, that our earliest memories are usually between 4, 5, 6. So the first few things we remember that registers in our head is usually around that time. So if you're able to do stuff before then, I think it will be really hard to, recall how you did that or how you learned that. Yeah. In fact, the very first memory I can really point to is my 5th birthday. Yes,
Wow. You still remember that event?
I do. I remember it.
Do people, okay, now that you're grown up, do you find it amazing when kids or when people recall their early memories? Like I do sometimes. I remember I tell my mother something that happened, an event that I was around that age, and she would be like, "Who told you this?" I said, "I was there. I was right there." So I told her two instances like this, and she said she's afraid. I said, "Don't be afraid of me." It just occurred to me, and I think this is common with a lot of people. They recall
Mm.
such aids.
I think mostly, well, it's the thing with memory. You have to
Yeah,
keep interrogating it,
yeah,
and then there is a funny way it comes up for us, even when we don't, when we think that um, it doesn't affect us in a way. I think there's a way memory comes to play, consciously or subconsciously, and it also shapes the way we shapes who we become.
absolutely, I agree. So let's jump into this is the right moment to jump into your book, Not So Terrible People. A quite interesting book, Nana, I must say again.
Thank you.
Yes, it attracted lots of commendation. A lot of people said about it. Says some, like I found in there some compassionate portrayal of everyday life of Northern Nigeria, etc. So well done.
Thank you.
Um, it's a collection of 11 stories. I I wanted to ask. I know that you've been asked this before, but is it maybe one story that happens to turn into a book, or you at a point had this intention to sit down and give us this interesting collection of stories?
So I have wanted to put together. First of all, I love the art form of short story writing. It's one of my favorite things to read and write. Uh, I dare say because I'm a lazy person,
Are you?
and novels are really a lot of work. Um, so I've always known that I would love to write a short story collection.
Oh,
And in fact, I went to a Bedi Writers Residency, I think in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, with the purpose of putting together a collection. From that residency, I think one of the stories I wrote that was supposed to be part of the collection became a children's book. So I do have a children's book
oh
before
wow,
this.
nice.
Yeah,
What is it name?
a new name.
Come again?
A new name.
A new name. Interesting. So that was your first book.
Yeah,
Ah,
technically.
technically.
So I do have a children's book collection from there. But that aside,
Okay.
I wanted to put together a collection of short stories, and I think I did at the point, but nothing came out of that. You know, the stories are still somewhere; they're just in fragments. But Not So Terrible People, the very first story or the very first piece in this book that was written ever was written in 2015 thereabouts.
Amal.
No.
Amal, Amal isn't the first?
No. It's a segment of online.
Oh, but this is Amal. We have Amal here as the first.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a scene between Ebuka and Onwai in a kitchen. That was written as a prompt on a Facebook group in 2015. My friend TJ Benson he put together this small Facebook group where he brought together writers, poets, and he would give us prompts, I think weekly or so. So he tasked us to write a character we're not familiar with. We were writing characters. So I wrote an Igbo man.
Are you familiar with?
I'm not.
Oh, you are not
familiar. I'm not familiar with an
Igbo
people. With writing an Igbo man. So I wrote an Igbo man. And who would have thought it would be where it is, today? So they happened in fragments here and there up until I think 2020-ish, I think. Up until like 2020, yeah. When there was the NSAS.
Yeah.
There was also ASU strike, there was COVID.
Yeah.
I did a bit more writing because there was time. But then I also abandoned it a bit again
Mhm.
till 2022, I think. Because I had a child then. I had just had a child. I was breastfeeding. I wasn't sleeping well.
Mm.
There were long nights, and so I decided to make the collection, make use of those nights. I put together the collection, and of course, I think I had about like 3, 4 stories at the point, and it was just supposed to be human stories, just about human beings.
Not the angels, not the
None of
jinns.
that. None of that. Up until I think still the same year on Twitter, that's in friend TJ Benson.
Okay.
He shared a thread, I think, on Twitter. I still call it Twitter, forgive me. He shared a thread there, and it was a story of someone saying, oh, if you've been in a Northern Nigerian school, you're familiar with jinn manifestations. And people were just talking about their experience. And I was like, I have an experience too. Like,
And
I
this
mean,
was when the idea was born.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So TJ was like, he responded to my tweets when I shared some of those stories of jinns that I grew up around.
Yeah.
Why do I keep hitting this mic? That I grew up around.
Mhm.
And he was like, write about this. These are
Sure.
our stories. You should write
Sure.
about it.
Sure.
And so that was when the idea came. Okay, I could also throw in maybe 2 or 3 jinn stories there, right? Then I read Waiting for an Angel by Helen Habila. I had read it before,
Yeah.
but at that point, I don't know what led me to reading it, but I read it again, and it was interconnected short stories. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. If Helen can do it, I can do it.
Mhm.
And I started to sit down and plot and figure out ways to make them interconnected.
Interesting.
And by the end of 2022, we had a very good first draft.
When you said 2022, there was an incident actually, the train incident.
That was, I think, 2023. I think, I'm not
2023.
sure.
So you came back to add other pieces
Yes.
into the collection.
A lot of writing is rewriting, I think.
What do you mean by that?
So when you have a first draft, right, it's almost like you're telling yourself a story. And in your eyes, it will always be a good story.
But then for others,
Yes. But then when it then goes out to other people to read, and you start the work of making it a story that can be consumed by other people, you have to go back to rewriting. Not just even things you want to chip in, also the language, structure, down to punctuation.
yeah,
It's a tedious task.
it is. So talking about short stories, some people think short stories are unfinished stories, unlike novel, right? What do you respond to that?
I think they are stories. I think they are just like humans. All of us are stories. We live or we die with unfinished business most times.
Wow.
And so we never can really tell if a story is finished or not. Who says it's unfinished? When death comes, do we say to it, wait, I haven't finished my business? No, it ends. An ending is an ending.
That's philosophical. All right. So let's talk about the title of the book now. Not so terrible people. The title is intriguing for me at least. I was like, why this title, Nana? It shows some kind of gray areas,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering how does it have any how does it make you see human behavior in general?
So I'm
Why the
always
title?
of
Let's
the
start with why the
belief,
title.
yeah, it's connected,
Okay.
really. I'm always of the belief that yes, there are bad things and good things.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we should know them and know the consequences for them,
Mm-hmm.
but that humans are inherently not good or bad. That there is a lot of space between black and white where there are a lot of colors
Mm.
that humans can wear. And so we are all not so terrible people. Yes, we can do terrible things, but I don't think that any one person is entirely evil or entirely good. And that's how the name was born, because the characters were not, I did not design them
Are you sure,
to
Nana?
be entirely good or evil, most of them.
Okay, I can agree with you to some extent. But like when I started reading, I think it's the first story or the second one. I think it's the second story of the woman, her husband, her in-law staying in the same place, and other stories as well. People, some people say Nigerian literature generally. I don't know what you think about this. Our stories usually lean towards suffering, especially of women. How do you position your work or your characters to this critique? Because I remember, sorry, before you respond, I remember, I think the last novel I read before the own was Abubakar Adam Ibrahim's,
When we were five.
this, no, the one that talks, that set in Zango,
Season of, oh, James and Assorted.
Dream and Associate. Yeah, so I think the first is a collection of short stories as well. The first story of a woman, her co-wife, and how her husband treats her. She has a daughter, and how it ended for her. You know, why do you writers in Nigeria lean your characters towards suffering, especially for women?
Well, there's always the talk about poverty porn. That is writing about poverty or suffering, grandstand suffering. But I also think that part of the work of an artist is to document and look around you as well.
Yeah.
Who do you see bearing the burden of society most of the times?
Mothers.
Women
Yes.
in general.
Yeah.
And usually art is a reflection of life, of what is happening.
I agree.
And whether consciously or otherwise, these things seep into one's writing. But also for me, writing is a bit political in the sense that I will write what I care about. And some of the things I care about, or some of the politics that I value, is women's well-being, you know. So obviously it will seep into my writing. Yeah.
Do you have an influence of, because I know you work also lean towards gender-based violence, right? Um, it's like you've responded to this, but again, why do you think it's necessary for us, and not just for women writers like you, for everyone to advocate against gender-based violence?
I mean, why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? We're talking about half the population of the earth
Yeah.
being relegated or intimidated, when we should work together to advance our economies, advance our societies. The cost is on all of us if we keep caging half of our society, you know. It's important we stop seeing each other as enemies, or one person is superior and the other is not. And I don't mean it in the sense that, anyway, I'm not trying to be palatable, but it's important that as a society we start to think of how to move forward together. And we cannot say that one half of our society should be okay with being violated, intimidated, and still somehow function and still expect the society to run.
Some people think some of the issues you bring to light are issues that we have been living, with for quite some time, and people don't see them as issues. But when you highlight them, bring them to the surface, it now becomes a problem. For instance, a man and a woman, husband and a wife, a father and his daughter, maybe would be living through a certain situation. They don't see that as an issue, but only when you highlight it or someone highlighted that person as a problem, then it becomes a problem for that family. What do you respond to that?
So I don't even think that it's it. I think that we know at some human level, even they living in the situation, that some situations are not ideal.
Mm.
But because it is how the society runs, it is what is normal for them.
Yeah.
When you live within something that is considered normal,
Mhm.
you also accept that this is normal, whether it makes you happy or otherwise. But when someone has the courage to say, oh, but this isn't right, then it does something to you, which then leads you to either join forces to say, no, this isn't right, or even kick against it and be like, oh, we've always done this. Why then are you trying to change what we've always done? But one of the things I ask people or I tell people is this: yes, you've always done something like this, and it's your culture, but culture is dynamic. It changes. Half the things you did, say, 50, 60 years ago, you don't do them anymore. Even the way we dress. I've seen interviews and videos from way before. I've seen women who weren't wearing the hijab the way we wear them, and they were respected women of the society. But that changed, and it is acceptable. Culture is supposed to serve us, traditions are supposed to serve us, make our lives better, not the other way around. So if they start to violate the rights of people, half of the people in the society, by the way, then it calls for us to come and sit together and interrogate these traditions. Not to say, oh, it works for one half, then the other half should just chuck it up. Yeah.
Sure. That's fair. Let's come back to your book. Take us through your writing process. What's your writing process like? I know for some writers, they are so strict to themselves, to a routine. Others wait for the story to pull them in before they sit down and write it. How is your writing process for the not so
So it
terrible?
depends. Okay, for not so terrible people.
Okay, generally you can take us through generally your writing process.
Usually,
Yes, please.
I allow the story to tell itself, to pull me in,
Yeah.
to marinate in my head.
Yeah.
I let the story build. Most of the times, I know how it's going to end and what the knots are and the dots are in my head before I ever start writing. But sometimes I also have to sit down and do a proper plotting, with characters, plot storylines, and what narrative to use and all that, what comes before this. But I find that I enjoy the stories that come naturally to me more than not, you know. For writing to not so terrible people, it was mostly just random, like I explained earlier,
Yes.
Up until much later when I had to then do the plotting of interconnecting them, especially having fun with the landlady.
Yes.
Yes, so I had to find areas to chip her in every now and then. And I had to do it in such a way that it's not so in your face, just leave clues. But also to even decide how I wanted it to be, the structure arrangement, the arrangement of the stories itself, to form a structure and everything. But generally, I do prefer to have the story in my head first before ever writing it. And I think it shows in my writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stories that come to me and I let them take as much time as they want, they are easier to write because then they just flow. And even for people who have read my writing, I think they're able to tell, oh, this story, this story was allowed to bake in the oven. But then when I have to write them, like force them to come out, and that happens, of course, when as storytellers who have to
Yeah.
earn a living,
Yeah.
then it shows. So I try to give my stories the room to breathe. Yeah,
All right.
in that sense.
All right. So let's go into the characters and the way you shape them or the settings. So some of the stories are perfectly uh like they set in Kano, right? And then you bring a blend of reality and jinns. You talk about jinns and angels, right? How do you decide to like keep your story realistic while at the same time uh you let the supernatural, the jinns,
Play.
haunting? Yeah.
So I mean, um, so obviously I'm Ibira from Kogi State,
Okay.
but I grew up in Zaria, Northwest, and
Yeah.
these are all areas where I've lived.
Mhm.
Most of the places in the book I've lived there,
Yeah.
or at least spent some time there. Um, so first it was a play on the places I've been.
Okay.
A huge part of the book is actually about me just expressing my crisis of identity.
Yeah, we're going to talk about identity, of course. Yes. Okay.
So, but why I felt it was important because these are some of the stories we grew up around, and they were our reality. Going to school, having your classmates drop to the floor, speaking
Yeah.
another language, or in a female speaking in a masculine voice, having the strength of I don't know 10 men or more.
You're talking about people possessed by.
Yeah, possessed by jinns. I saw that. I think you've seen that
Of course.
too. So these are our realities.
Yeah.
They happen around us. And based off of also our faith, we know that there is, while we are doing whatever it is we're doing, there are these other creatures who are also living their lives and doing the things that they are doing. So for me, it was not a separate. I was not trying to merge or create this world where there was reality and there was the other world. I'm living in it, and I was just sharing stories that I have lived in.
Some of your female characters portray a kind of a contradictory character, right? They show vulnerability, yet they're strong, right? I don't know. How did you decide to choose their voices? Look like, yeah. I
That's a
think this is the
heavy
perfect
question.
description of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
I try to, you know, find myself around these characters. They will be like, just look at Rahila. I was wondering, is it Ozobuhe, right? That's the correct name of
you're
Ohunene's
trying.
husband.
Yes.
What did he do to her to wish him dead, right? While she's this loving, kind person to her friend Ohunene. How did you get these voices? Contradictory people.
Well, aren't we all a bit contradictory as well?
I think we are.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
I feel like, or the way I have observed by interacting with people, my observations have led me to believe that one person is capable of a lot of things. We all have so many, it's like we have multiplicities contained in us. So one person is very complex. And so they can be the most loving person to one person.
To one person.
And totally be the devil's incarnate to another.
Maybe just because of something that happened between us or something.
It could even be away from them, maybe circumstances, their own biases or sentiments or whatever. You know, like I have an uncle who totally does not like nurses, no matter how kind they are, because a nurse broke his heart. So, but yet he is the most kind and considerate person outside of meeting anyone who is a nurse. So do we then say he's a bad person if he treats a nurse in a bad way? Or do we say he's a good person because he's really mean and rude to nurses for some weird reason.
Yeah.
But that's just, on a lighter note. Yeah, so I think that one of the things I was trying to portray, especially for women, because we are raised to be this loving creations who should strive at, by all means, just be loving, kind, calm, contain whatever emotions of anger, unhappiness, sadness, and don't let people see that. But I wanted to show that women see these things, women feel these things.
I think I like how you interrogate your characters and generally humans in general, right? Like we can portray a certain personality in one place and the other in another place. Or maybe what we show the world is entirely different from what is
Of course,
our
we're all
reality.
wearing masks, Ms. Bao.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel like we wear different masks.
Do you mean you and I?
We all know,
People.
everyone
wears
feel
different
like
masks.
we present ourselves, we put the best foot forward or the best face forward
Yeah.
in different places. So if I arrive here and it requires me to be funny,
Yeah.
I think that
You
the
will do
average
your best to be
human
funny,
will try to be funny, to be relatable.
even if inside you.
I think that for all of us at the base level, we all just want to be accepted.
Yeah.
And so we try to do whatever is necessary to gain that acceptance. And most times, well, sometimes the things we do might not be right. But like they did say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, with good intention. So talking about identity, your story set in Northern Nigeria, Kano shows a lot. Kaduna, Kurmi. You once told me that there are Kurmis all around Northern Nigeria. I didn't know that until you told me.
Yeah, there are.
So how does that, we're talking about identity, the one you started talking about earlier. How does you living in Northern Nigeria, in Kano generally, shaped the way you tell stories?
I won't say shape.
Yeah.
Because I've always told stories for as long as I can remember. But of course, meeting people finds a way to, and experiences find ways to slip into that. But generally talking about identity though,
Yeah.
I find myself torn between two worlds most of the times.
Okay.
The Ibira doesn't roll off my tongue with as much ease as it should. And the Hausa doesn't too. When I go to Kogi State, when I go home, people laugh at me the way I speak, and they're like, "Oh, you don't sound
like you're from here."
Yes. And even my favorite food is tuwon shinkafa.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, Hausa. You're not.
They see you as Hausa.
And then I come here.
Yes.
And understand. I'm not Hausa.
I can understand.
And I'm not seen as Hausa.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it doesn't roll off my tongue also with as much ease as it should. And so it's like, so then who am I? It is, I'm caught between two worlds.
Yeah.
And that's part of what I wanted to portray here. Because my characters did not speak good Hausa. They were also, like Amal, for example, you could tell she's not Hausa.
Yes.
She's just someone who moved here and speaks. Yes.
You once told me something that also made it into my diary. Oh. I think you said, we cannot, like that's exactly what you said. You said we're all product of our experiences. So perhaps this translates to say how we think, what we say, how we relate with people, what we write is shaped by our shared experience. And this is what play out in you. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I do agree. Because you'll find pieces of me scattered in this book. Well, not in the characters, as some might have been.
But we've seen some of your friends. talk about Rhoda. You don't need to tell me if I, like somebody who knows some of your friends, the moment I see Rhoda, when I started reading the book, the person that came to my mind was Esiba Babali. And throughout the story, I didn't see where that doesn't fit.
True.
I can't say entirely, but generally, I can say that doesn't fit Esiba.
Yeah.
And also the story you narrate, it's about your project that you started together, a company, Tart Space, that you have in Kano.
Yeah.
You talk about their struggle, the character struggle to getting funding, etc. So are we correct to say that you portray some of your friends?
Some, yes.
So still coming back to how you weave your characters, jinns, angels, you try to blend them into modern narrative, something like that. Is that a kind of a way for you to preserve maybe some memory, culture, or you think we just have to tell these stories because they still shape who we are today?
That's an interesting question.
Oh, thank you.
For me, it was predominantly about retelling the stories that I grew up with. But now that you talk about it, yes.
I made you to think about it again.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because they do sort of like shape the way we see the world, you know. You and I, based off of our faith and where we grew up from, it's not alien to us to think that there is the whole other world where there are jinns, you know, or that their actions or inactions might influence some of us. So yeah, I see the correlation in your question. I do actually. That's interesting. But for me, really, it was about documenting the stories that I grew up around.
Yeah. You know, I asked this question because I think, yeah, we still see these things. If you go maybe to our marketplaces, the kind of maybe those people saying selling herbal medicine, we still have, we still do ruqya, right? We have people who others see as witches, right? I don't know why you decide not to bring witches into your story, even though you try to talk about the supernatural world. I was maybe expecting I would see some witches.
You know?
You didn't live these kind of stories?
I mean,
How they are hated in the community, how they do mysterious things, how they are in some communities, they are seen as helpers, elsewhere, they are chased away, killed even.
yeah, you know, a lot of women have been killed under the allegation of witchcraft.
Which, yeah.
But I didn't think about it like that. The only, will I say, connection to something similar is maybe online. I know, like the foremother was supposed to be part of this elite class of women who served masquerades. They are those women.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if they are now, but then in Ibra land, there are women who were supposed to live their lives as virgins and just serve the masquerades. And you know, we believe masquerades are our ancestors who come to celebrate with us every now and then. So I think I explored it a bit in that aspect, but not like witchcraft. But also it showed, because the landlady, remember, there were whispers that she's unusual, she's a witch, and maybe she's even the one who had something to do with the miscarriages Uhunene had because she was in their house. So what I was trying to show is that women, by just existing, people make assumptions about them and their lives, especially if they seem, will I say, not the usual. if they seem unusual, there are assumptions made on their behalf, like the assumptions made on the landlady by Sunday,
Yeah.
who happens to be my favorite character.
Well, if you told me once, yes.
Yes.
I was wondering.
But yeah, these are the things. I didn't categorically go into witchcraft because I feel like it's a bit overflogged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of other people have written about it,
Not
etc.
in that sense, in the whole women witches kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think
want
you're
to,
giving me an idea. Maybe there should be a male witch
yeah, please,
somewhere.
because I know some people are asking you for sequels, right?
Oh, God, you
Okay,
don't tell
let
me
me.
you are one of those people, please.
So I think where I want to ask about that is one of my favorite character,
Okay.
Bilia,
Okay.
the madman.
Mm-hmm.
There's something I like about him,
Okay.
and if I should join the league of people asking you for sequel, then it will be this story.
Really?
I think it's the shortest
It
story,
is the shortest story.
right? Nana, please tell us what moved you to write that story, if you remember.
So I remember a friend
Yes.
who was going through something at a point in his
Yes.
life, and he was walking, trying to cross the road,
Okay.
and he just, he was deep in his thoughts, and he just stepped into the road, and someone pulled him back. I was like, "Can't you see there are cars crossing? Are you mad?" And it was a madman.
Wow.
So you will get to see who he really is much later and see the dynamics of why that happened. But yes, it was also to show that these people that we, not just a madman on the streets, but even the kose seller,
Yeah.
Almajiri, these people are reservoirs of information. And though we go about our lives as though they do not exist, and I say this because this is how society treats
Yeah.
people who are petty traders or people who are the unseen day in the society, they are a fantastic reservoir of information, and they have lives too and feelings. They get angry, hurt, sad, happy,
Yeah.
and they have their own stories.
Sure. They do.
And maybe I hope that it helps us be kinder to the people who aren't really seen in society. Because it's also something I try to do. Like the landlady is an older woman.
Mm-hmm.
Most elderly women are not, they're just relegated to the background,
Yeah.
because the youth is gone. Whatever usefulness, it's now maybe we defer to them for wisdom, or if they are someone's mother, then that person tries to take care of them. But really, we don't see them as playing such a huge role anymore. We
Yeah.
don't see them or see what is aching them, you know.
That's deep, Nana. It got me thinking of a lot of things actually. There are things we don't pay attention. People, especially, we don't pay attention to them. And this not just about their own story or how they see things. Sometimes we don't care about their emotions,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
How they feel, etc. Just maybe this is a little bit digressing. You will see an instance where a widow, her children, I know you must have maybe have this conversation elsewhere, her kids will deny her a chance to remarry,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've not read it elsewhere. I hope this is something you writers would one day write about. I know probably someone must have written about it.
Well, I think that was sort of the premise of Seasons of Crimson Blossoms by Booker.
By Booker.
Not denied per
Yes,
se, but
yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's
yes,
sort of
yes,
the
yes,
premise.
yes. I remember. Yes, exactly. I think I've written a review on that.
Because just because a woman is a widow
Yes.
and is a bit
Yes.
middle-aged or elderly, does that mean then that she doesn't have
Absolutely.
feelings or wants or desires and needs? So yeah.
When we talk about things like this, some people will be offended. sometimes people around us, sometimes even our family members, and which is understandably, which is why sometimes we run away from having conversation around it. But I think it's very important we
They
talk
are
about it.
necessary. We should care about other people more than. So, my theory is that a lot of us are stuck on presenting an ideal. Like, oh, for example, let's use the widow example. The children, oh, this is our mother who loved our father, who was so good to her, and now he has passed. She is honoring him by being alone and taking care of us and our children. That's her grandchildren, and she's an honorable woman. That is what we are selling, you know? And
Are we
so
being more protective that we don't want somebody to come and hurt her feeling? We don't want her
I doubt it's really that. I think it's just that women are seen as possessions. So this possession that belonged to our dad, someone else is coming to possess. Do you get?
Yeah.
So we have to stop looking at people as.
Still, I'm coming back to my question of being protective. I don't want somebody to come and hurt my mother's feeling.
But your mother is an adult.
Yes, she is.
That's the infantilization. I find it hard to pronounce that word that happens with women, and it's not in our interest. I have to say. I remember, we do this BUK Creative Writers.
Yes.
I remember there was one evening and we had closed, and it was a bit, was it late? I think past 6 thereabout, almost Maghrib. And I was like, I would like to take a walk. My house is not that far. I'll take a walk. But every man there was like, oh, it's getting late. We will take you home. But I want to take a walk. But they're like, no, we just want to make sure you get home safe and protect you. But I want to take a walk. That's what I want to do at this point in time for myself and my health. So what makes you think that your idea of protecting me and what is important at that time supersedes mine for my life?
Yeah.
I know the consequences of being out in the dark or out late, but yet I have made a choice, and it's my choice.
Yeah,
and as
but
an
then
adult, I reserve the right to exercise that choice.
we are meant to be your protectors.
No, you're meant to protect your
you,
household.
We guard you. Against all evil in the society.
So
if
who
we see
creates the evil in the society that you're protecting us from?
Are you saying men created the evil?
I don't know. Who?
Well, the evil is there.
Now you are the one dancing in circles.
The evil is there. There are evil people, right? And we want to protect you from being attacked by them. So I think it's okay to say no. We would deny you that, right? What do you say to that?
No, it's not.
I think God gave us this. He said we should protect you as women.
But then again, God gave us all free will.
Yes, we have the free will. So it doesn't stop you from having your own free will. If I see danger,
if you're imposing,
and I say don't go to that danger, I'm not trying to impose. And even if I am, it's for your own good.
Who says it's for my own good? There again, you're infantilizing an adult.
But you see danger, Nana.
They know the consequence of the danger. If I see danger and still put my head in it, then I should bear the consequence.
Okay, tell me, if somebody now wants to fall off a building and kill himself, he knows he's going to die. So should we just say he is an adult? So just let's allow him.
No, I'm not displacing the position of dialogue and trying to convince someone. Yeah. What I'm talking about is imposition.
But how do you define imposition in this sense?
There is even when you're calling people to Islam, for example.
Yes.
There is a difference between, you must become a Muslim, and showing them through our manners, through beautiful preaching, and gentle nudging,
I agree.
there's a huge difference.
Yeah, there is.
There's a way I'll say, Ms. Bahu, I want you to do this for me,
Yes.
and you will do it. And there's a way that I will say to do the same thing that will be insultive to you, or will seem like, what is this woman taking me for? Am I taking me for a ride? So is that consideration that is not given women, because it's saying as you don't have a choice. Whatever I say, you have to agree.
What is one thing that you can give us as an example, for instance, that you think we're not doing enough, that we can do better, especially in Northern Nigeria, with respect to women?
I think we are not listening enough. Not listening to, respond, or I think we're not listening so that we can consider these problems and find lasting solutions to them. We're not listening. What we still have is an idea of what we think women are going through or what we think women want. But we're not listening. And it starts from all our households. What is your wife saying? Not what do women want. What does your wife want? Not what do women want. What do women want? Women are this, women are that. But what do your sisters want? What does your daughter want? And I think at the end of the day, we should ask ourselves if this is the life we want. You have a daughter.
Yes.
If this is the life
I want my daughter to live.
Yes. If we are comfortable that in, say, 10, 20 years, we've gathered, we've done a marriage ceremony, if we pick an average of men in Northern Nigeria and your daughter falls in love with one of these men, that you would be comfortable and certain that you have a fulfilled, well-rounded, secured life with this person.
When you said it goes back to the household, I don't know what you think about this. So I want to say my argument is it all goes back to you, mothers. How well did you train your boys to respect women if you want them to respect women in the next 3 decades when they become husbands? Or is it still on us? Now it's like, are we trying to shift back the responsibility onto you? What do you think?
Because that's an interesting answer.
Yes.
Because again, you just said it rests on mothers.
Yes.
It actually rests on mothers and fathers.
Okay.
On both parents to raise a child. The fact is, for example, we tell women to be independent, to have their own money. But if you work in the field, even women who, I think recently there was a lady that died, I'm not sure, that was murdered, allegedly, to be safe. But she was a wealthy woman, and her husband allegedly killed her. I think she's from Bielsa. She was quite popular. Is it Winifred or Millifred or something? I missed the
story.
So money doesn't really help when it comes to violence, but that's even aside it. But we can't tell women, first of all, to earn a living, have that money for yourself so you're not disrespected. Come back home, do the labor of being a primary caregiver and being in the house, and still say that that's a good life. There has to be some balance. The truth is, yes, you can say that, it's how mothers raise sons.
Okay.
But first, mothers should not be raising sons alone.
Alone.
They should not. Because yes, that boy, the mother is telling him do this, do that, but he's still looking to his father. If he does not see that his father is engaged in household activities,
more of himself
in his father.
In the father, yes.
So there's no amount of, you should see, if you're in a house, you should pick up after yourself, you should do this, you should do that and help. He's still going to see it as, I'm doing this as a child because my mom has a right over me to ask me to do this. So when I have my own family, my wife will do this and this and this for me. because I see that my mom did this. We, the children, helped her, but my father did not. So until he sees that his father is actively involved in the household, he's not never going to see it.
That's his own responsibility when it's his own time.
When it is time.
Anyway, I want us to go out of this.
Yes, because we're never going to end this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So how old is Not So Terrible People in the market now, in the month of September?
So it came out May, June, July, August.
5 months.
Okay, we're still
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 months. Can you take us? I know, young writers like myself watching this, we would be interested in knowing about publishing. I read about if you want to publish a book, you need an agent. Publishing is very difficult in Nigeria, challenging. Can you take us through?
I mean, you could always self-publish, but I guess you mean traditional publishing.
Yes.
I would say I was lucky.
Okay.
In the sense that when I finished the first draft, I sent it out to some of my friends and mentors who are readers, and it was also at the time that there was a call for submissions from my current publishers.
Okay.
So they're like, why don't you just enter into this? So I submitted, but then again, a friend or two put in a good word with my publishers. So then I'm sure somehow that must have helped in them even picking the book. Because I think there were two people I knew who also submitted at the time, and I think it's only two of us who got selected. So of course they went through their own selection process, but just to even say, oh, Nana's book is there to maybe give it a look, So I would say though that part of it is making sure that you have a good book. Something that it doesn't have to be perfect, because they of course will still work on editing and all that. But let it have a good story.
So your publishers also work on editing, etc. I thought you write, you have an editor that looked through your manuscript, and then before you
of course, then I sent it to them. Then they assigned an editor to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
And I have to also give them some props because my book had some Ibera themes. I had an Ibera editor.
Yeah.
So they assign an editor too. And then you have to go through the whole process of back and forth. It is tedious. So have a good work. Have people read it. Not just your friends who will tell you you've done the best things. But people to critically look at it. If you can have an editor look at it too before you
into the publishing.
Yeah, before. And then I want us to be more conscious of opportunities.
Okay.
I remember sharing on a group that I'm in with some creatives when I think Narrative Landscape opened for submissions, Reader Books opened for submissions, Masobe opened for submissions, I think early this year.
Yeah.
And I shared it to that group. And I told them, these submissions are opening in the next month or two, for the next month or two. Put your work together and enter into this. Would you believe some members of that same group were asking, like a month or two after it was closed, they were like, but we want to be published and we have this manuscript. And I'm like, I shared this.
Yes.
So I think that, especially here, we are a bit lax.
Okay.
And I wish we will take more.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Is it a habit?
I don't know. I think we're a bit generally lax about a lot of things, a lot of important things, like the insecurity, for example. But that's a whole conversation on its own. So I wish that more young Northern writers will seize opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities. Look for them. They are there. And then I think I was really disappointed and offended because I shared this link with you guys, told you it was opening. the least you could have done was try.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a different case entirely if you don't try.
Yes.
I mean, if you try and
fail.
it doesn't, yeah,
Yeah.
but you don't try. There are so many journals available. And it's, sorry to say, the more you come this way, and I know I might get some heat for this, but you take a look at Niger State Mina. They're producing fantastic poets and writers. And those poets and writers, young people, are seizing opportunities. So why aren't we doing that here with our art?
But in Niger, for instance, we have people like the Zukoji,
yes.
Hilltop.
Mhm.
Like, these are people that have been into these literary activities, and they are mentors. They have been in fact, this is what they do for life, to see that they uplift young writers. Is it that we have to do better here in maybe the core note?
Yeah, I think we have to do better. But also, as young people, we can't always wait to say, oh, I have to be fed and told
Somebody
what to
has to,
do,
yes.
and someone has to be on my neck.
Yes.
You have to try.
Yeah.
You also have to, it's like saying, oh, this is my life. I'm going to sit in the passenger seat and wait for this person to come drive me to where I need to be. No, be in the driver's seat. Take the wheel yourself. Maybe there might be someone seated beside you or in the back whispering that, okay, maybe you should go this way or that way, but be in the driver's seat of your own life. And I think that's really lacking.
I hope our people, young writers especially, can do better. And
I really hope so.
Believe in our mentors too. We have them.
Because so? I think I'm also coming into a place where I remember I think about a month or two ago, a young lady sent a message. She said, hello, Nana, good afternoon. This is my manuscript. I want you to look at it and all that. And I didn't respond.
Why, Nana?
I have a lot I'm doing with my time. I don't know you.
Yeah,
you picked my number from a group, I am very sure. You do not do me the courtesy of introducing yourself.
Excellent.
And you assume that I have all the time in the world to leave my own stuff and look into your manuscript. Why? So there's also that attitude of entitlement that I don't quite care for.
So the young writers...
See, with my book, and I'll give an example.
Yes.
Before I gave someone who I considered a mentor,
yes,
I had people read it, go through it, made corrections, given to an editor to see.
Before giving to your mentor?
Yes. And I had kept, first there was a relationship with this mentor before this time.
And the editors too.
I had kept hinting and also prodding. I did not wake up in one day and say, oh, Mr. or Mrs. So.
Please look into my manuscript.
Yes. So I wish more younger writers would. You know the way we're saying younger writers as if we're very old.
Well, yeah, for me, you're speaking to me directly, actually.
So I think that we have a combination of two things that are working against us. We feel entitled to guidance, and we also are lackadaisical towards our own progress in terms of the arts.
If you look back at your own self, I know many young writers listening to this will be interested in this question I'm about to ask you. If you look back at yourself, what advice would you love to have been given as a young writer, even before you publish your children's book? What advice would you love to have been given earlier when you started writing seriously?
I think it's still to concentrate on learning the craft.
Learning the craft.
I think that you can never stop learning. I think so. Concentrate on learning the craft and also build good relationships. I think those are the two. Of course, when we're younger, we are hot-headed and we feel we can live alone, do away with whoever. But I think that we can be more,
As we get older.
We're not islands.
Yeah.
And no matter our differences, we should be able to go back and, or would I say, not burn the bridge. But I understand that there are some bridges that need to be burned down, maybe, but really, as much as possible, maintain good relationships with people, at least a decent, cordial relationship. Because, like with most things in the world,
Yeah,
relationships matter.
a lot.
The connections we make matter. There's this producer in Hollywood. She's an actress too, Isari. She was saying that most of her projects has been with friends, the people she grew up around with. And most of the things currently I'm building, most of the people that are helping with my craft, sharing, even as little as sharing maybe a book that they think I should read on crafting or language or whatever, growing third space with Nasiba, they are your peers. They are your friends.
They know your strength, they know what
They
you're
are people,
capable of.
yeah, they are people you're growing with. If you're looking for a videographer today, you're going to first look within your circle.
Which is exactly what I did.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we have to build relationships, grow together, but also know the craft. Because yes, it's all the reason I want to presume here
Yeah,
that you're able to bring me on this podcast and sit with me is because you feel the book is good.
absolutely.
If you feel that, yes, I'm your friend, but if you feel like this craft, this work I have done is subpar, I doubt you will have me here.
Certainly.
For the book, at least.
Yes.
Maybe for something else, but for the book,
Yeah.
I doubt you would have me here.
Yeah.
So we have to hone the craft and nurture relationships. I think those are the things that I would say.
I've always called you my mentor, and when I sit with you talking to you like this, I don't want you to really stop. I don't. Whatever you say counts. It counts a lot. And when we have conversation like this, I always go back to my diary. In fact, that's back to the first day we met. Right? It's not what you said; it's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's often what you said that usually goes back to my diary. And thank you a lot. You just spoke to me like as a writer, right? And you brought up thought space. I have a question because they say you need to read before you write. Like good writers are good readers, which is something we've been saying we're lacking reading culture here in Northern Nigeria. Personally, I want to believe that is becoming history because it seems that there's a kind of an awakening or reawakening in Northern Nigeria literary space. Look at the activities we have talked about, Hilltop in Niger, look at Kano, look at Zaria. See what young people, women are doing, in literature. The tribe is becoming larger. Do you think you guys, I don't know what is the idea behind building thought space. I would like you to tell us. Do you think it's something that would also contribute to improving reading culture in Northern Nigeria?
Of course.
The project of Third Space.
Of course. Third space is, like the name implies, the third place we want you to be comfortable. The idea is that you're comfortable at home, or you spend a lot of your time at home, then at work.
Too.
Then we are the third place that you should.
You know what? You are terrible with titles, with naming things. Interesting.
So we are the third place, the third space. So you should be spending your time with us, because the idea is not just to sell books. It's also to have a workstation, but even beyond that, to have like a safe space for creatives and artists.
Like a hub.
Yeah. To chill, generate ideas, innovate and create, find solutions. So that is the idea behind Third Space. And we do other services aside sell books. Like we do edit.
Okay.
And at a discount for women.
Nana.
Nah.
Again. Okay. So for women, there's a discount.
There's a discount for women.
But I love this idea.
Yeah.
You know what? You know why? Because I think it's a good idea to have a discount for them. It's like encouraging them to write.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
By the way, why do you choose to have a discount for women? This is my own thought.
That's the whole idea.
Okay.
We want to remove, to the best of our abilities, as much obstacles there are for you to pursue your dream as a woman. And part of the things you mentioned, having an agent, for example,
Yes.
if you want to go the agent route, you have to have very good writing, a writing that is without blemish. So you need an editor as a writer.
I see a bigger future for Thought Space.
Of course.
You, Nasiba, coming together. Oh
Exactly.
my goodness. Whole lot of force there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. And what other things do you do apart from editing? Maybe acting as an agent, selling books?
Well, you'll find out. But
I want my listeners to really find out.
Well, they will find out.
Okay.
Just keep following us.
Okay.
Well, you can share the pages on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, we would.
But we will soon be opening. We got a space finally.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, we will soon be opening. We're just setting up.
So that story of Rhoda and her friend has finally materialized.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Without
it come
Al-Haji.
here, right?
Without Al-Haji, thankfully. Yes, and
I wouldn't
without
ask-
anybody dying.
I wouldn't ask, even if that's what you try to avoid me saying, I wouldn't ask where the funding comes from. But yes.
No, that's not even what I mean, like without anybody dying.
Okay, what do you think the Thought Space could do? How do you think Thought Space and the Fitila Podcast, I know this is cutting you off guard, what do you think the Fitila Podcast and the Thought Space could do together?
Well, I don't know.
lot.
What do you think? Because I'm seeing a lot of possibilities.
Really?
Again, see,
Yes.
friends,
Yes.
linking opportunities.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Bala's idea of collaborating together with the people you know who have something to offer, right? Together, when you come together, there's a hell lot of things you can achieve.
Yeah.
Together. I have my second to the last question. Yes, I will allow you to go after those two questions. People read you not just in Northern Nigeria. People read you all around. I see where you go reading your book. I've seen reviews from all around. And I want to believe not just in Nigeria, but in maybe abroad or outside the country. My question is, what would you like a reader in Kano, in Lagos, in London, in Sao Paulo to take away from not so terrible people?
I think it's very simple for me. If we could take away the fact that we can live with more empathy, that's enough for me. Because what I'm just trying to show is that we humans, we're crazy, but we're not entirely bad. So maybe just lead with empathy, So it's really that simple for me.
It is. And while you just said that, I reflect onto the story of Bilia, like I said earlier. And yes, and I think that's what was at play in that story. Yeah, I hope we will show more empathy and be more kind to ourselves and to the people around us, to our wives, right? Our daughters. I said that was my second to last question, and I said daughters deliberately.
Okay.
I asked you this question when we had a video some months ago, a couple of months ago before you published. As a father of a girl, I was so much like, it was interesting how your life went with your father, how you grew up with him, how he taught you how to document things that happened, etc. If I would like my daughter to be a writer, what advice, apart from what you've told us how your relationship was with your dad, what other things, considering our own current situation now, differs a lot? I remember you told me that your dad didn't just tell you stories in English.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
What can you advise me as a father of a child? How would I train my daughter to end up being like Nana, writing a novel or a book?
Okay, writing a novel or a book.
Yes.
I say be her friend. Be her friend, really. I felt like I tell people that since I lost my father, I feel like that protection have gone. I have less audacity because while he was alive, and we fought a lot, by the way, I felt like I could, no matter what I did in this world, I could go back to him.
Mm.
And that even if the world throws me away, he would have me. And he always said it, you would always have a place with me. So when I lost him, it was like, so now there's nobody to hold you. You have to come correct and you have to be careful. So if you could give your daughter that assurance that no, come what may,
Yeah.
no matter what I do in this world, this one person has me.
Wow.
I think that helps.
Thank you very much, Nana.
My
I think this
pleasure.
brings a very good end to our conversation for today.
For
Of course.
today.
I look forward to having you here at the Fitila Podcast
Thank
to
you.
discuss maybe your next book. Are you working on another?
I am.
Interesting. I look forward to having that, and may your father soul continue to rest in peace.
I mean,
May we have more Nanas writing your stories from Northern Nigeria. And I wish you all the best with Thought Space.
thank you.
I look forward to
And I wish
partnering.
you all the best with Fitila.
Thank you very much.
I will hold you by your neck. You must continue this.
I would make you proud.
Good.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
I'll make you proud.
Thank
But
you.
before you go, well, you can if you would want to. I want you to recommend a book for my listeners, for my audience.
Okay.
And I would like you to also recommend a podcast.
Okay.
If you like the Fitila Podcast, fine, but it's okay to recommend. Nana, you do a podcast. Okay.
I do some sort of.
Let me not use your mouth to chop the onion for you.
A book I recently read, Be Bandele's Yoruba Boy Running. I enjoyed it.
Come again.
Be Bandele's. That's the author.
Okay.
Yoruba Boy Running.
Yoruba
Yes,
Boy.
it's fictionalized. It's a story about Reverend Ajayi Crowder.
Oh.
Yes, but fictionized, so historical fiction. I think it's a really good read. Yeah, sadly the author is no longer with us, but it's a good read.
Okay.
For podcasts, I do have, but I just read poems on it, so it's for relaxation.
I know eventually it's going to become something like this, and even, of course, better.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
And perhaps it's a subsidiary of Thought Space.
Yes, I foresee that. Sure.
Yeah, so for a podcast, your podcast, I watch a lot of Trevor Noah also. I've forgotten what he calls his, but I just search Trevor Noah, or I'm subscribed and it just pops up. Then I watch I Said What I Said podcast. Some
I think I know this.
Two crazy women who just ramble, but they make a lot of sense in terms of finance and just everyday life tips.
Okay. Nice. I Said What I Said.
Yes.
And then a podcast by Trevor Noah.
Yeah. Whatever Trevor Noah is in, I watch. I have to admit that.
Okay, we'll go see for ourselves too. Thank you very much once again for having you.
Thank you.
I wish you safe travel back home.
Thank you.
Yeah.